My beloved, I want you to open your ears and hearts to this truth. Many of the battles you are fighting today do not come from the things you can see. They come from the unseen, from the hidden, from what has been planted quietly in your home without your awareness. A witch does not always confront you openly. She does not always announce her attack with thunder and lightning. No, she moves in silence. She uses simple things, ordinary things, to carry extraordinary destruction. She hides her weapons in plain sight so that you will not recognize them, so that you will live with them and even protect them, all the while suffering under their weight. You must understand that objects are not always innocent. A small charm, a doll placed in a corner, a powder sprinkled where your feet walk, a ribbon tied with strange knots, even a gift handed to you with a smile. These can be more than what they seem. To the natural eye, they look meaningless, but in the spiritual realm, they are containers of curses. They are assignments released into your life. They are like silent messengers carrying orders from the enemy into your living room, into your bedroom, into your children's lives. Think of it this way. You don't need a massive fire to burn down a house. A single spark is enough. In the same way, the enemy does not need to shake the ground under you. He only needs to sneak in one object, one spiritual spark, and soon your peace begins to collapse, your joy begins to leak, and your strength begins to fail. That one object becomes the open door through which sickness enters, through which arguments erupt, through which your finances dry up, and your opportunities vanish. Some of you know what I am talking about, because you have felt it. You walk into your house, and you feel a weight in the atmosphere, a heaviness that words cannot describe. You find your nights restless, your children crying without reason, your marriage filled with tension. And yet, when you look around, nothing seems out of place. But hidden in that very place could be the weapon that was planted to steal from you. Do not be deceived into thinking these are harmless. Do not say, "It's just superstition." Remember, in ancient times, idols were carved from wood and stone, lifeless material, and yet entire nations bowed down because demons lived in those idols. What looks simple to the eye can be deadly in the spirit. A witch's object may be hair tied in a knot, or wax molded in a figure, or even soil from a grave. You see dirt, you see cloth, you see nothing. But in the unseen world, that object has been charged with dark power, and it is doing its work silently, effectively. The greatest mistake people make is to ignore the signs. They think, "It's just coincidence that I'm always sick. It's just bad luck that money never stays. It's just stress that keeps me awake at night." No, my friend, sometimes it is not coincidence. Sometimes it is the hidden curse planted inside your home, laughing at your blindness. That is why discernment is so important. Not every gift is a blessing. Not every decoration belongs in your house. Not every object should be welcomed. You must ask yourself, who brought this? Where did it come from? Why does it make me feel uneasy? If your spirit is restless, do not dismiss it. That is the voice of warning, trying to open your eyes before it is too late. And so I tell you, do not tolerate what the enemy has placed in your life. Do not keep what has been sent to destroy you. Remove it, cast it out, and cleanse your home with prayer and light. Because the longer it stays, the deeper its roots grow. And if you do not uproot it, it will uproot you. There are times when objects appear in your home, and you cannot explain where they came from. You look at them and wonder, did I buy this? Did someone in my family bring this here? Why is this here at all? My friends, you must understand. When something has no clear origin, When it cannot be traced to a safe and trusted source, it is very often a spiritual plant. Witches and workers of darkness know that the most effective way to invade your home is not through open attack, but through silent infiltration. They place things among your belongings, sometimes directly, sometimes through others, and those objects carry invisible chains to bind you. You see, confusion is one of the greatest tools of the enemy. If you don't know where something came from, you are less likely to question it. You may push it aside, ignore it, or even keep it because you don't see any harm in it. But the absence of an explanation is itself a warning. Objects without origin, things you cannot remember buying, things you cannot recall receiving from someone you trust. These may not be accidents. They may be assignments. Think about this. You sweep your floor and find a coin with strange markings you have never seen before. You open a drawer and notice a small pouch with powders inside it. Yet you know you never placed it there. You clean under your bed and find threads tied together in knots. What are these things doing there? Who put them there? Why are they hidden where no one normally looks? These are not coincidences. These are planted seeds of destruction. Do not take it lightly when such objects appear. They are not decorations. They are doors. They are spiritual passports inviting forces of darkness into your environment. A witch may throw something over your wall at night, or slip something through your window, or use an unsuspecting person to deliver it into your hands. And once that object rests inside your home, it begins to release its poison. Suddenly you notice the atmosphere has shifted. Peace feels distant. Arguments rise out of nowhere. Dreams turn into nightmares. Finances dry up. Health weakens. All the while, the object remains quietly in its place, doing its job silently. This is why you must pay attention to everything that surrounds you. You cannot be careless. When something has no origin, when you cannot remember its journey into your home, do not brush it off. There is a reason it appeared. There is a reason it was placed. And if you choose to ignore it, you are giving silent permission for it to stay, for it to grow, for it to destroy. Many people make the mistake of sentimentality. They say, maybe it's just something my child picked up outside. Maybe it's nothing important. Maybe it's just strange but harmless. That kind of thinking gives darkness a free place to live in your house. Do not let your kindness or carelessness become the very doorway for curses to settle. Be wise, be alert. If something feels wrong, if something does not belong, trust that inner warning. The spirit within you knows. And I tell you this, it is better to remove an innocent object than to keep a dangerous one. Do not hesitate. Do not delay. If it cannot be explained, if it does not carry peace, if it stirs confusion, let it go. Destroy it, throw it far, burn it if you must, but do not allow it to stay. Because the longer it remains, the more it spreads its poison through your life. There are objects placed in homes not only to curse but to block. They are not always there to attack directly. Sometimes their very purpose is to stop the flow of blessings, to shut doors that were once open to you, and to interrupt the natural movement of life around you. These objects act like spiritual barricades. They are energy blockers. They are set in place so that joy cannot flow, health cannot flourish, and opportunities cannot reach you. You feel like you're moving forward, but something invisible keeps pulling you back. You pray, you plan, you work, yet it feels as though nothing changes. This is not always coincidence. Many times it is because a door has been opened through an object whose assignment is to block what belongs to you. Imagine a stream of water flowing freely. It nourishes everything it touches, brings life, and refreshes the land. Now imagine someone throws a large stone into that stream or builds a hidden dam. At first the water still moves, but over time it slows, then it stagnates, then it becomes polluted. This is what happens spiritually when a witch places a blocking object in your environment. It disrupts the flow. Your prayers feel harder. Your joy feels distant. Your plans take longer. What used to be easy becomes a struggle. Some of you have felt this in your own homes. You know what it is like to wake up and feel heavy, to feel drained even though nothing has happened. You know what it is like to work hard but see no fruit. You know what it is like to feel your relationships tightening, your finances shrinking, your health failing, all while life around you looks the same. You ask yourself, why do I feel stuck? Why do I feel trapped? Often it is because an object has been planted to create that very blockage. The enemy knows that he doesn't always need to strike you with sickness or loss. If he can simply slow you down, delay your blessings, keep you from seeing progress, eventually discouragement will set in. Discouragement becomes doubt. Doubt becomes despair. And despair opens even more doors for darkness to work. A blocking object is like a stone in the heart of your home, sitting silently but turning everything heavy. What kind of objects can do this? They can be as simple as powder sprinkled at your doorstep, charms buried under your floor, strange knots tied and hidden in a corner, or even seemingly harmless trinkets given to you as gifts. Once they are charged with dark prayers, they become spiritual barricades. They do not just sit there. They project resistance into the atmosphere. It's like walking through thick mud instead of on clear ground. This is why you must be alert to changes in your environment. If peace turns to tension without reason, if success turns to failure without explanation, if doors of opportunity close suddenly, do not only look at the natural. Ask yourself what may have entered your home. Search carefully. Pray over every room. Listen to the voice inside you. Sometimes what you feel is not just stress or bad luck. It is the effect of a blockage intentionally placed. And when you find such an object, you must act without hesitation. Remove it. Destroy it. Cleanse your space. Pray until the heaviness lifts and the flow returns. Do not accept blockages as your normal life. You were not created to live stuck, stagnant, or delayed. You were created to live in freedom, with blessings flowing like a river into and out of your home. There are objects that witches place, not just to bring sickness, not just to block blessings, but to gain control. These are symbols of bondage, objects designed to tie down your life, to bind your destiny, and to keep you from rising. They carry marks, patterns, or knots that are not random. They are crafted with intention, with dark prayers spoken over them, with a purpose to chain you in ways you cannot see with your eyes, but you can feel in your soul. When such an object enters your home, it does not simply sit in silence. It begins to release invisible cords that wrap around your mind, your will, and your emotions. Suddenly you find yourself unable to make decisions clearly. You feel confused, restless, or even powerless. It is as though something outside of you is pulling the strings of your life, and you are no longer fully free to act. That is the purpose of these objects, to strip you of your freedom and to place you under spiritual control. Think of the knots that are often tied in strange strings or ropes. To the natural eye, it looks like nothing more than a twisted piece of fabric. But spiritually, every knot is a binding. Every knot is a chain. It says, tie their finances, tie their marriage, tie their progress. And soon you realize no matter how hard you work, nothing moves forward. No matter how much you love, Peace does not remain in your relationships. No matter how much you pray, your words feel trapped in the air. You are not weak, but you feel weak. You are not poor, but you feel as though poverty has gripped your life. These are signs that a binding has been placed. There are also objects marked with symbols, drawings, carvings, or scratches that are not accidental. These are occult signs, like seals stamped in the spirit realm, declaring ownership over what is not theirs. It is as though a dark hand has written its name over your blessings and declared, "This belongs to me." And if you do not remove that object, that claim grows stronger and stronger until you find yourself living under a shadow that you cannot shake. Some of you have already felt this kind of control without realizing what was behind it. You feel pushed to anger for no reason. You feel sudden fear in your own home where there should be peace. You feel pulled into habits or decisions that destroy you, and afterward you ask yourself, "Why did I do this? That is not who I am." These are the invisible strings of bondage being pulled. They do not come from your heart. They come from the objects that were placed to control your destiny. Do not underestimate these symbols of control. They may look small, but they are powerful because of what they represent. They are contracts in the spirit, chains disguised as gifts, curses disguised as decorations. And as long as they remain, you will feel the weight of that control pressing down on you. But you must remember this truth: no chain is too strong to be broken. No binding is too tight to be loosed. The moment you recognize such objects, the moment you remove them and renounce their power, the cords begin to snap. The weight begins to lift. The grip of control begins to weaken. You do not have to live bound. You do not have to live under someone else's power. You were created for freedom, and freedom comes when you are bold enough to act. So many lives remain under attack not because the power of darkness is stronger, but because people ignore what is happening right in front of them. The greatest advantage the enemy has is not his strength, it is our ignorance. When you dismiss or downplay the reality of what has been planted in your home, you are giving silent permission for it to stay. You are giving it space to work, to grow, and to tighten its grip over your life. What you call superstition, what you call coincidence, what you call just bad luck, may in fact be the very trap that has been draining you day after day. Ignorance is dangerous because it numbs your spirit. It makes you blind to what is real. A person may find a strange object in their home and think nothing of it. They may even pick it up, clean it, and place it somewhere visible, believing it to be harmless. Meanwhile, that very object is releasing confusion, stirring up quarrels, closing doors, and scattering blessings. The enemy counts on this. He knows most people will not act because they are afraid of looking foolish, or they have been taught that only what is seen can harm them. But the unseen is often more powerful than the seen. Think of how poison works. It can be tasteless, odorless, invisible. A person drinks it and feels nothing at first, but slowly, silently, it weakens them from the inside. That is exactly how these objects operate. If you do not recognize them, if you do not act, they continue their work until one day you wake up and realize everything in your life feels off balance. You cannot pray like you used to. Your peace is gone. Your dreams are full of shadows. And still, because you do not want to overreact, you do nothing. This is why knowledge and discernment are weapons. When your eyes are open, you rob the enemy of his hiding place. When you refuse to live blind, you strip darkness of its power. And yet, so many people choose comfort over action. They would rather pretend nothing is wrong than confront the truth. They would rather say, "It's nothing," than take the time to cleanse their homes. But pretending is not protection. Denial is not defense. Ignoring a snake does not make it disappear. It only gives it time to strike. I am telling you, you must break the power of ignorance in your life. You must stop dismissing the uneasy feeling inside you. That stirring, that small voice, that sense of something wrong. It is not paranoia. It is your spirit warning you, crying out to be heard. Do not harden your heart to it. Do not let shame or fear silence it. The enemy already works in darkness. Do not help him by keeping your eyes closed. If you have found strange things in your home and brushed them aside, go back and look again. If you have been experiencing unexplainable problems but never thought to pray over your house, begin today. If you have assumed everything is just random, challenge that assumption. Because the longer you ignore it, the stronger it becomes. Ignorance is an open door. Awareness is the key to closing it. Once you recognize what does not belong, you can act. Once you act, the grip of darkness begins to break. You do not have to live blind, and you do not have to live bound. Open your eyes, listen to your spirit, and choose to confront what has been hidden. The most dangerous thing you can do when you sense something dark in your home is to delay. Every moment you hesitate, that object's influence grows. Every day you tolerate it, its roots sink deeper into your environment, wrapping tighter around your peace, your health, and your destiny. This is why immediate action is not just wise, it is necessary. Darkness feeds on silence. It thrives on delay. It gains power from your inaction. The moment you recognize something suspicious, the moment you feel that check in your spirit, that is the moment to act. When you move quickly, you break the cycle of fear. Many people hesitate because they feel afraid. Afraid of doing the wrong thing, afraid of what others might say, afraid of confronting something spiritual. But fear is exactly what the enemy wants. Fear paralyzes. Fear convinces you to live one more day with what is destroying you. Yet, every step of boldness you take weakens that power. When you decide, "I will not live with this another second," the atmosphere begins to shift. Your authority grows. Your freedom begins to return. Immediate action does not only mean physically removing the object, it also means spiritually sealing your home. Once you identify and discard the item, whether by burning, burying, or throwing it away far from your house, you must fill that empty space with light. Speak words of blessing, pray over every corner, invite peace to take the place where darkness tried to dwell. Do not just sweep out the enemy, welcome in the presence of life. Because an empty house will always be filled by something. Make sure it is filled with goodness, and not with the same darkness you drove out. Another reason people delay is because they think they are too small to fight such things. They believe only someone else, some leader, some minister, some more spiritual person can handle it. But let me tell you, you are not powerless. The moment you stand in your own home and take authority, the power of darkness begins to break. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to be strong in your own ability. You only need to be willing to act, to take a stand, to declare that nothing planted against you will prosper. And do not stop at one action. Make it a habit to regularly check your home, your surroundings, and your spirit. This is not about living in fear, but about living in vigilance. You check your locks at night to keep thieves out. You check your food before you eat it to keep poison out. In the same way, check your environment to keep spiritual traps out. This is wisdom, not paranoia. This is protection, not superstition. Some of you listening right now feel that nudge in your heart. You already know there is something in your home that does not belong. You have been ignoring it. You have been making excuses. You have been hoping it would go away on its own. But it will not go away until you make it go. That sense of urgency you feel right now is not fear. It is your spirit calling you to act. Do not silence it. Respond. Move. Remove what does not belong and fill your house with light. The moment you do, you will feel the shift. The heaviness will begin to lift. The tension will start to break. Peace will start to return. The atmosphere will become lighter, freer, brighter. Your home will no longer be a cage. It will once again become a place of safety, rest, and blessing. But it begins with you, and it begins now.